Ladies and gentlemen, welcome today to another edition of NASCAR Thunder 2004 on the channel. We've got the different camera angle once again for another one-time only due to just really not having my camera set up in time for the stream, and I was running a little behind schedule with practice and qualifying and everything that goes into this race on top of other stuff I was doing with the channel all day today. We're here. All right. Thanks for everybody tuning in. We have 5 races to go on this final NASCAR Thunder 2004 season, and we come to the Martinsville Speedway for the Subway 500. It is the second to last short track race of the year, I guess. Some people consider Phoenix a short track, but it's a little bit longer configuration in here, and then Rockingham is just over a mile in length. But anyway, we are here at Martinsville, half-mile short track. Terry Labonte dominated this race earlier this season. We'll see if he could do the same today. It is still a tight points battle within the top 4 in points, though it's not as tight as what it was last race. Dale Jr. won at the Lowe's Motor Speedway, and not only he was able to get the win there, but he took back the points lead away from Dale Jarrett. Dale Jarrett blew an engine. We had 3 of the top 4 drivers in points all blow an engine. Dale Jr. was the only one in the top 4 that did not in that race, and he ended up going on to win. So he has a 90-point lead once again here today, and we'll see if we can end up finding our way in victory lane to close in on the championship ourselves with our driver and your fan-voted driver, Terry Labonte. Bass, Black Ace, welcome to the stream. We're going to take you through today's starting lineup, and before that, the MRN boys are going to take you through today's key points of emphasis heading into Martinsville. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We do these full race live streams with a realistic broadcast every day. Fun stuff coming up on the channel. By the end of the night, there will be an upload of a predictions video as well as a little bit of an announcement I have before the start of the season. I've already kind of broke that news. I'll break it throughout the course of the stream again as well so you guys don't miss it. So make sure to tune in for that video as well later on. We'll have the Clash predictions tomorrow before the race starts, as well as a pre-race to the Clash on the channel running our Budweiser shootout for NASCAR 05. Thanks for everybody tuning in, and I will see you guys here in a couple minutes. Now, BLS, welcome to the stream as well.
Everyone, we're glad you could join us at the historic Martinsville Speedway for today's Subway 500 on MRN. And Barney, this is one of those tracks where the term Rubbins Racing says it all.
Drivers work the brakes hard at this racetrack. It's like 2 drag strips with short turns. The wear and tear these cars take from the track is bad enough. Then add in some good old beating and banging with other cars. Now that's stock car racing, baby.
Terry Labonte, who's currently in the top 10 in points, will try to reach that next step, the top 5.
I had a chance to talk to him this morning, and he's looking forward to this race. He feels they have a very strong car that can pick up some more points this week. We'll keep an eye on him.
Michael Waltrip's career finally started to take off after joining DEI in 2001.
You always knew he had the ability. Now he finally has the ride to show it. I expect we'll see even more of him in the future.
Brett Bodine just couldn't get up to speed in qualifying this week.
I spoke to the crew chief this morning, and he told me that they just missed the setup in qualifying, but he does expect his driver to make his way up through the field and get a good finish without much problem.
Taking through today's starting lineup, we got the Got Milk paint scheme as well here today, hence the glass of milk I hold throughout the course of this race, trying to bring ourselves as much good luck with our sponsors on the race car to the end of the season as we can. We'll start things off with the front row. Terry Labonte will be on the pole once again this season. Points leader Dale Jr. will be starting outside pole in second. Ryan Newman, Dale Jarrett will be in row number 2. Jarrett still sits in the top 5 in the point standings. Mark Martin and Rusty Wallace will be in row 3. Mark Martin is now the new second-place driver in points, as mentioned, 90 points behind the points leader, Dale Jr. Jeff Gordon and Robbie Gordon in row 4. Jeff Gordon still holding himself in the top 10 in the point standings. In row number 5, we've got Matt Kenseth and Jimmy Johnson. Kenseth still in the top 10 in the points as well. Michael Waltrip, Johnny Benson will be in row 6. Row 7, it'll be Kevin Harvick and Sterling Marlin. Jeremy Mayfield and Ricky Rudd back in row number 8. Elliott Sadler, Jerry Nadeau in row number 9. Greg Biffle and Bobby Labonte sitting in row 10. Bobby was on a hot streak for the longest time, but now he's DNF'd with 2 engine failures in 2 of the last 3 races. Still sitting 5th in the point standings, though, with a shot at the championship, but he has gotten himself into a much bigger hole. Ward Burton and Mike Skinner in row number 11. Row number 12 will be Kurt Busch and Tony Stewart. Bill Elliott, Ricky Craven in row 13. Christian Fittipaldi, Joe Nemechek in row 14. And row number 15, it'll be Hermie Sadler and Jeff Burton. I like donuts in NASCAR. Welcome to the stream as well. Steve Park, Jamie McMurray in row 16. Casey Mears, Jack Sprague in row 17. Kevin LePage and Kenny Schrader in row number 18. In row 19, it'll be Stanton Barrett and David Green, a couple of part-time drivers this season. In row 20, it'll be Chase Montgomery and Brett Bodine. In row 21, it'll be Jeff Green and Kyle Petty. And rounding out the field will be Kenny Wallace, starting from the last place position. Joshua Rumsey, welcome to the stream as well. One of the more anticipated races as far as the end of the season goes here at Martinsville. Just 5 races to go to decide a champion and 500 laps of racing here today. Green flag is in the air as Terry Labonte leads the field to the green and into turn 1. Slides the tires a little bit but wants to beat Junior off of turn 2 and he clears them with ease. Labonte dominated this race earlier this season. Locks the brakes up again there. Almost overdrove the corner. Ryan Newman now to second, passing Dale Jr., who was stuck on the outside, and Labonte will lead lap 1. Newman trying the outside into turn 1, perhaps trying to get to the lead early on. Labonte did not want the points leader to lead a lap there at the very beginning of today's race. Labonte comes in 8th in the point standings, but still a shot to win the title. A lot of these guys are going to need help, though, with Junior having that 90-point lead, and Labonte kind of overdrives the corner in the center of turns 1 and 2. Got back to the gas way too soon. Rear tire spun, clipped the inside wall. It's going to be tough to make it all 500 laps today, but Labonte did win this race earlier this season. Now a little contact with Ryan Newman in the 12, and Junior's going to get to the inside of Newman off turn 2. Labonte's just got to reel this race car in. He was a little too loose in practice. Still qualified on the pole. Was actually fastest in happy hour, but the first practice he struggled quite a bit with the handling of his race car. And that's what he's struggling with right now. That is not a good sign of things to come later on. But he needs to protect and hold this lead as long as he can, especially now that Dale Jr. is back up to second. On your 51st race, NASCAR Heat 5. Nice. At the Roval. Seven people watching in the early going of tonight's race. Thanks for everybody tuning in. In the opening laps of the Subway 500. Last 4 races of the season following this will be Atlanta, then Phoenix, back to Rockingham at the North Carolina Speedway, and then rounding out the year at Homestead Miami Speedway. Newman and Jr. are battling hard for second. They keep passing each other back and forth. Newman again to the inside of Dale Jr. Bonnie's really trying not to slide the tires as much as he possibly can. And as they battle for second behind him, that's only going to help. Lap traffic going to be a huge factor in today's race, as usual when it comes to short track racing, and really any racetrack in this game in general. Bonnie's going to have to be extra careful. Doing a little bit better backing up his corners now. Jeff Gordon, Matt Kenseth in the top 5, sitting behind Ryan Newman and Dale Jr. Newman trying to close back in on Terry Labonte. Labonte's got that track position early on despite not having the handle into the race car. Hopefully kicks in on the longer run. I'm sure it will speed-wise. Handling, I'm not entirely sure of. Just have to wait and see. Gordon is the 4th place driver right now, by the way. Kenseth is the driver in 5th. Coming off a race yesterday at Lowe's Motor Speedway in which we had 5 cautions total. Eesh. Likely going to be a 2 to 3 pit stop race today as well. I'd probably lean more towards 3. The tires seem to wear out a little bit more here, specifically on that right front, with it being a much flatter racetrack compared to what it was at Bristol a handful of races ago when we were there for the night race. Labonte coming off kind of a rough finish to yesterday's race. Still got a top 10, so that's 3 straight top 10s coming into today's race, but he had a great shot to win. Now a little contact with Ryan Newman in the center of turns 1 and 2. Newman got a little tight, but Labonte did kind of come down into him as well. Newman hanging on the 5 car of Labonte. Wow, I don't know how Newman is that upset already, but he is, and he drills Terry Labonte. He's absolutely drilled Labonte. After the contact, they made 2 corners in a row prior, and Dale Jr. slides into 2nd place again. Jr. trying the outside, lap traffic in front of Labonte right now, kind of checking him up as well. Chase Montgomery's the first lap car of the night, or at least the first driver to go a lap down. So Labonte gets around him. Ryan Newman trying to use Montgomery as a pick to get back to 2nd, and Labonte wants to stay as far away from Newman now as possible. I can't believe how mad he got so quickly. There was very minimal contact, 2 corners in a row, but it was enough to definitely send Ryan Newman in the opposite direction as far as his likeliness of Terry Labonte. Newman's still fighting for a championship too, though he's one of the more long shots to win it at this point. Terry Labonte, you could say, I think he was more of a long shot a few races ago, but after those 3 straight top 3s and the bad luck Jr. had up until his win at Lowe's Motor Speedway last night, you could say could have went that way as well. Bonnie accidentally got in the back of David Green. Ryan Newman starting to close in again. There's going to be contact all day today. It's so hard to hang on to this race car and so hard to pass cars in this game on this racetrack. Luckily, this is the last time we have to race here again on this game and at this racetrack. Well, I should say at this racetrack on this game. Obviously, we'll have Martinsville and other NASCAR playthroughs, but not in this one. And again, Labonte knows he's got speed at least in the race car, and he had the track position with qualifying on the pole, which definitely helps, especially knowing he won the race earlier this season. If we get a long green flag run to start, that seems to be where the best of luck happens for Terry Labonte. You saw it at Richmond in both races there, and really in the first Martinsville race, that's exactly what happened as well. Didn't have that same kind of luck at Bristol, though he still won at least the first Bristol race. Just has to keep that car about as clean as possible throughout. It's kind of been a rough first 23 laps today And he's trying to be patient with the lap cars, but he really doesn't want Ryan Newman to close in on him again, because Newman might try to end his day before we really even get that far into it. Fittipaldi checking up as he gets to the inside of the 57 of Kevin LePage. Labonte just kind of shoved Fittipaldi right past him. Almost a 1 second lead already for Labonte. Mark Martin's climbed into the top 5 and 5th now. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. no longer in the top 5. It's kind of what Labonte and the rest of these drivers trying to catch Jr. in the points wants to see. This is a race in which probably the last race of the year you might see Jr. struggle. I think we go into those final 4 races and Jr.'s going to be running up towards the front. Of course, him winning the last race at Lowe's Motor Speedway definitely showed he runs well in the 1.5 miles, so we still have 2 more left, including the next race at Atlanta. Nice pass all the way to the inside and clear. Bonnie clearing Kenny Schrader in the 49. Jeff Green got a little loose on the outside of Labonte. They didn't make contact with one another, though, luckily. Labonte locks the tires up. They still didn't make contact. Jerry's hugging that grass around the curbing. Really wants to clear Jeff Green. Green keeps hanging in there, and Labonte beats him back to the gas off turn 4 now. Lap 30 early on. Terry Labonte's led all 30 of them. Well, 29, I guess, technically. This was another one of those racetracks where we saw multiple phantom cautions under green flag pit stops this season, so I don't think that it's going to be a race that we're going to see very few cautions. I just have that bad feeling about it. Luckily, they're off to a decent start. We'll slide of the tires of both the 5 and the 4 car there. So got into one another, too. Now, although we did win this race earlier in the season, it was also before I had this controller with this bad analog stick. So this is almost feeling like 2 separate races. Which they are 2 separate races, especially with the times of the years that we're at. Don't really know what the championship battle is when we came here the first time, 11 races into the season, but we definitely know what the championship battle is like with only 5 races left in the year. And it is very tight within the top 10. Extremely tight within the top 5. Again, mathematically coming into today's race, the top 4 in points can take the points lead away from Junior, even though Junior's got a 90-point lead. And again, Junior was not able to lead a lap early on. He fought hard to get around Labonte on the initial start, was battling hard there with Newman as well at that second position, but just was too much for Dale Jr. to hang on, and then once we got to lap traffic, he is starting to fade. Maybe he's got a good short run car. He didn't. Trouble! Labonte saves it into turn 3. Ryan Newman's going to take the lead. Big time save by Terry Labonte. Caution's out at lap 36. He got hung up on the back of a lap car going into turn 3. That lap car was Casey Mears. And that just spun the 5 car sideways and just missed the wall. Almost entered onto pit road, too. He had to make sure he was going to cut up the track and miss the pits. So Ryan Newman will take his first lead of the race, and we also get our first caution. Great save by Labonte. That could have been a lot worse than what it was. And we already have our first caution of the day. Bonnie's going to stay out to keep this track position. I'd have to assume Newman... Oh, no, Newman pits. Well, they kind of psyched Labonte out there and came to pit road at the last second. So Newman leads a lap under caution to get 5 bonus points. And that's going to hang the 5 of Labonte out to dry. And as we get into turn 1, Ryan Newman just completely dumps the 5 of Labonte. And I mean, completely just shoved him out of the way. Just gave no time for Terry Labonte to even get into the gas. Check out getting into the corner here. And Newman trying to run Labonte back down the racetrack again. And Terry not having it here with Ryan Newman early on. Newman's trying to get away on those fresher tires, but he's got about 3 lap cars right in front of him. Newman beats Labonte back to the gas. Oh, it looked like Labonte was going to get underneath Newman that time, but he couldn't quite do it. It's going to be tough to get around that 12 car now. He's got to do it with the lap car of Jeff Green right in front of him, though. That's going to be the best opportunity to do it. Now he gets again back to the inside of Ryan Newman. Kind of just sends it in there, and he's going to get around Jeff Green. Yeah, comment down below. Did you guys enjoy the Super Bowl yesterday? What were your thoughts on that? Tom Brady, again proving why he is the GOAT. Probably nobody will ever catch him. I don't know how that man does it, but he does it. Lap traffic kind of helping Labonte out despite having about 30 to 35 lap older tires. But we'll see if Newman, or I should say when Newman gets around both Mike Skinner and Jeff Green, if Labonte is going to be able to pull away again or not. Dale Jr. still not in the top 5. It looked like he was 6th when that caution did come out. Or at least when he cycled off of pit road, he was in 6th. Christopher George, welcome to the stream, by the way. Jonathan Rogers, welcome as well. Super Bowl is just in. I mean, it's just insane how they were able to put that much pressure on Mahomes. I know they were missing 2 offensive linemen, which obviously you could tell that was a big factor. I didn't think it was going to be that much of a factor. Mahomes had like 0 time to throw the ball, especially in the second half. Kind of felt bad for him. I mean, he was just getting pummeled. But you can definitely tell he was trying. He never gave up. He was fighting some insurmountable odds, that's for sure. Then on the other side of the ball, it just seemed like the Chiefs could not get to Brady, and Brady had all day to throw the ball. And the crazy thing about him having all day to throw the ball, it's not like he can scramble outside of the pocket and buy his own time. Like, his offensive line was literally protecting him so well. Lap 50 early on here today. 1 caution. And already tempers have slightly boiled at least a little bit higher between Ryan Newman and Terry Labonte in the early going of today's race. Labonte's led the most laps so far. Newman was able to lead a couple under caution. Beat Labonte back to the line. But Labonte got through the lap traffic a lot faster than Ryan Newman did, but Newman getting around that last lap car now. He's 2 seconds off the lead. And Labonte better be careful because Newman has already tried to dump him a couple times, including on that last restart. So Jimmy Johnson did, yeah, 7 championships. Newman is closing in on Labonte right now as well. He's only a second and a half off the lead, so he gained a half a second on Labonte in 2 laps after finally getting around both the 4 of Mike Skinner and the 1 of Jeff Green, who lined up on the inside on the restart because, again, they were a lap down. Got more lap traffic coming up in front of Labonte. That's either going to hurt him exponentially or it's going to help him exponentially. So he kind of wants to catch them before Newman can catch him, but it is going to be tough because Ryan Newman is closing in hot pursuit. Bad idea by Labonte to stay out of the pits. He is leading laps, yes, but this might not end very well if Newman gets to him. Labonte was worried that everybody else was going to stay out. That's the problem with being up towards the front of the field, is that he didn't have a lot of time to make that decision on whether he wanted to pit or not. And he was committed to staying out because he didn't want to have to restart towards the back of the pack. In hindsight, obviously, he wouldn't have had to do that, but you never know that until the decision is already made. And the good news is it is very, very early in the race, and I guess Casey Mears is probably really upset with Labonte too, even though he checked up going into turn 3, which caused the last caution. And again, the only caution so far. Well, Labonte's got company from behind. Ryan Newman's right there. Newman pushed a little tight off of turn 2. Labonte sends it into turn 3 to get around Kenny Wallace and Hermie Sadler. That'll buy him a little bit more time. Casey Mears isn't mad enough to take a swing at Labonte at least, so Terry should be able to pass him cleanly. The problem with them pitting is if we get a long green flag run this time, then Labonte's going to have to pit 30 to 35 laps before everybody else. And the tires will even out over some amount of time, but it's going to take a little bit yet. Newman's struggling in the lap traffic. He showed that on the restart. He's showing it now. He even showed that in the opening run of the race, those first 30, 35 laps. He was right there until lap traffic came into play right about lap 20, and Labonte was slowly pulling away from him. He only got out to about a 2.5 second lead, though, before the caution. And obviously Newman beat him back to the line because Labonte had to make a save. Newman's really closing that gap. Labonte struggling, trying to get around his teammate Nemechek right now. Nemechek's giving him a lot of bottom, but Labonte can get underneath him off the exit of the corner, but the grip of the tires maybe causing a little less rear wheel spin from Nemechek. One lap car between the 5 and the 12 now at the front of the field. 3 Hendrick Chevrolets in the top 4. Jimmy Johnson now up to 3rd, less than 2 seconds off the lead himself, and Jeff Gordon still in 4th. Matt Kenseth rounds out the top 5. Oh, David Green got loose. Labonte checked up a little bit, getting into turn 3. He didn't want to run in the back of him like he did with Mears earlier. Trying to save the damage on his race car as well, and Ryan Newman continues to close. He's to the inside of Nemechek off turn 2 now. And David Green is now starting to block and take away the line on the inside of Terry Labonte from trying to get around him. David's still barely on the lead lap. Oh, Labonte gets into the back of him, saying, I've got to go. Ryan Newman has just gotten around Nemechek, and now, again, another checkup from a lap car in front of Labonte. That time, David Green into turn 3, and Ryan Newman is within a couple car lengths again. Labonte swinging a little wide. Here comes Newman. Newman might send it into turn 3. Labonte couldn't go, though. He's still stuck behind Green. He's making contact with Green, trying to get him out of the way, and he can't do it. He doesn't want to make Green a rival. Now Green sends it into turn 1 and moves Jack Sprague out of the way. Jimmy Johnson's closed in. He's right behind Ryan Newman for 2nd. These lap cars are slowing up way too much into the corners. Johnson to the inside of Newman for 2nd place. Gordon only 2 seconds off the lead in 4th. Comes Newman again. Newman with a great run. He really sent it into turn 1 on the outside, and he's in the wall. He overdrove it. Scraped the wall off of turn 2. That's how hard Newman's trying to run right now to stay in front of Johnson. Labonte kind of clips the inside wall again. Jimmy's still trying. Oh, man! That car just stopped turning off of turn 2. And in the wall goes Labonte. And Jimmy Johnson takes his first lead of the night. Oh, Gordon just moved Newman. Gordon moves Newman. And now trying to move his teammate Labonte. Terry runs wide again. And Gordon's up to second. So Terry Labonte and Ryan Newman starting to lose spots. Those lap cars probably costed Labonte not only the lead, but second place as well. Gordon knocked out 2 birds with 1 stone on that recent pass. 1, 2, 3, Hendrick Motorsports now at the front of the field. Gordon entered the corner a little high. Spun the rear tires just a tad bit. Labonte gets back underneath him, and he'll outbrake him into turn 3 and move up to second. As he continues to try and stay in front and stay away from Ryan Newman, really. These older tires, over 70 lap old tires on Labonte's car, and that's why you're seeing the car wiggle around more than what it did at the beginning of the race, when it was already a little out of shape. Finally going to get around David Green. Boy, that took a while. Ryan Newman's about 3 seconds behind Johnson, the leader now. Seems like outside of Labonte the last 3 races, the rest of the Hendrick Chevrolets have had absolutely terrible luck. Johnson's had a couple DNFs, Nemechek's had a couple DNFs, and Gordon just blew an engine yesterday at Charlotte. And Gordon's at least in 3rd, Jimmy's at least in the lead right now. It's amazing how much Labonte's banging this car up in the opening 100 laps of a 500 lap race nonetheless. That could be a scary sign of things to come here later. He's really got to take care of this thing, but I don't know what more he can do to help with it handling-wise. He had to tighten it up so much from first practice to qualifying to happy hour just to keep the car from sliding on the short runs. So on the long runs, it's only going to be even worse. He'll probably try to make a wedge adjustment anyway. Meanwhile, Ryan Newman, a couple laps ago, got back around Gordon for 3rd, and again, he's charging closer and closer to Terry Labonte. Man, Bonnie hard on the brakes. He barely kept it off the back of the 30 of Steve Park. Well, at least on corner entry. Man. The lap cars just slow up so much more than the lead lap cars. Like, the faster cars can just send it into the corner perfectly fine, like Labonte, and probably why you saw Jeff Gordon try to move a car already as well. Today's race, I don't even know if it's intentional half the time. Even for the AI. Labonte's really trying to stay off these guys and not run right into the back of them. So hard. Trying to check up so early just to keep it from happening. Oh, contact with Nemechek. Oh, gosh. Couldn't get off of him. Sorry, not Nemechek. Did I say Nemechek? I meant to say McMurray. My goodness. Ricky Craven just door slammed Labonte in the center of the corner. Had to have known he was there. He was more than a half a car underneath him. Maybe it was Craven's spotters for not really telling him he had a car underneath him as well. That's possible. Johnson is slowly pulling away. He's definitely getting through the lap traffic better than anybody else right now. Labonte didn't struggle at the start, but he's struggling now. Older tires not helping, already over 80 laps in. Ethan, welcome to the stream. This is a short-tempered racing, for sure. Luckily, with the realistic broadcast, I try to keep my composure as much as I possibly can. Unless the game does something stupid, that's usually the only time I lose it, and that's really few and far between. Already one caution early on. Johnson's been leading a lot of laps right now, too. Labonte already won't lead nearly as many laps as what he led the first time we were at this racetrack. Oh, bounced into the wall. Then had to lock the brakes up to keep from hitting Bill Elliott on his inside. This is the last season we're going to have Bill Elliott in a NASCAR game. Well, at least, I don't know if he's in some of the other games. He's definitely not in the 9 car because Casey Kane will be a rookie in our 2005 playthrough. So final race is seeing Bill Elliott, at least in the 9. Ryan Newman is getting closer and closer right now. Oh, geez, Elliott checked up again, getting into turn 1. Look at him trying to block Labonte. Labonte trying to hold the outside. He just ran hard into the back of Elliott there. It's a pretty hard hit. And Newman again closes that gap. I'm surprised there's no damage in the red right now in Labonte's car, because it's seeming like it should be that way. Well, here's Michael Waltrip up here. Maybe we can get payback on him. It's the only driver in the field that we need payback on. Though if Newman tries to dump me one more time, he'll probably be on that list too. Oh, hard into the wall. Maybe not hard on the inside. If it was hard enough, I think Newman would have actually passed Labonte. Instead, he only got to his right side, and that was it. And Bill Elliott is just holding up Terry Labonte now, much like Jack Sprague was earlier, and David Green. So nearly a 2-second lead for Jimmy Johnson now. Look at how loose this car is. Somehow he keeps it off the wall. A hard thing to do. Honestly feeling like Dover a little bit when Labonte had a terrible car from the start of the Dover race and he only made it about 100 laps into that one. And Johnson is just pulling away. Jeff Gordon back to the inside, and he'll take away third from Ryan Newman. There's a run by Labonte. He might be able to get underneath Elliott this time. He does, but he can't stay underneath him. He had to lock the brakes up or he would have hit the inside wall. That's how hard Labonte drove it into turn 1. Nearly 100 lap old tires for him. Ooh. More contact with Elliott. It's actually not Michael Waltrip. That's Jeff Burton in front of him. I think if Labonte sees Waltrip, he's going to try to get payback on him because Labonte's in desperate need of fresh tires right now. Sliding the tire. He doesn't even have to get on the brakes hard. The only reason he locks him up is because he's already on the brakes a little bit. Then the car starts to slide, and he has to lock him up just to keep from hitting anybody or anything. Gordon's kind of holding up Newman again, and a couple lap cars are holding up Gordon. Allowed Labonte to pull quite a ways ahead, and he's got heavy damage on the right side of his car now as he just drilled Mike Skinner getting into turn 1. Beating and banging accidentally, though, here today at Martinsville. So Labonte's right front fender pretty banged up now. Labonte's got to take care of it to the end of the run. He can still probably go another 30-35 laps on fuel, if not more. And he's got a rival of Kurt Busch coming up as well, and that's not going to help things. Caution debris off of Labonte's race car. Second caution of the day. It looked like the front bumper, piece of the front bumper came off Labonte's car, so that's our second caution of the race. The problem is Labonte brought the caution out, so he can't pit here. He could pit to repair damage, but that's it. So he's going to keep his track position, and everybody else is going to stay out as well. There you see the points as they run, and Junior still got a massive points lead. Unbelievable. Well, green flag back in the air. Jimmie Johnson leads the field to the green. Labonte trying to get to the inside as quick as he can. He's got heavy damage on the right front, so he definitely doesn't want to be on the outside. And he might be able to take the lead quickly like he did on the last restart, mainly because of the lap cars that got off to a good jump. And Labonte leads at the line. Hasn't cleared Johnson yet. Johnson tries to squeeze, but there's no hole there up the middle. Labonte trying to stay away from Kurt Busch. Sends it into turn 3. And just like that, Terry Labonte has the clean air out in front of the field. And able to get to the lead on the restart, but Johnson's got a really fast car. Look for him to try to charge back. Johnson gets to the inside of Kurt Busch off of turn 2, trying to get around that driver. That is the first driver one lap down right now. Just got around Sadler the lap prior. So we're just over 100 laps complete in today's race. Joseph then, welcome to the stream. Should pit under that caution. Well, the problem is I would have restarted back in traffic, because there's quite a few drivers still on the lead lap, the way the first 2 cautions have already fallen today. There is some heavy damage on the right side, but gonna hope for the best. Lap traffic will be coming up again here soon. Terry isn't all that far from our first pit stops of the race. He's got a little bit of open traffic for now. He'll catch more lap cars here in a couple laps. A lot easier to catch him on the restarts rather than the initial start, because it's single file through most of the pack until we get more and more drivers a lap down. At least an even amount of drivers a lap down compared to how many are on the lead lap. Help stack up those restarts mid-pack a little bit more. So Labonte spun a little bit earlier with contact from Casey Mears, but saved it, didn't hit the wall or anything, and that brought out the first caution. Then debris off Labonte's front bumper brings out our second caution. Yeah, definitely going to have to keep it clean, that's for sure. A 2-second lead. See, Labonte's good in the clean air, but there's not much of that at Martinsville. Tires are probably starting to even out at this point in the run, too. Over 100 laps on his tires. Everybody else has about 70 laps on theirs. Labonte to the outside of Chase Montgomery. He's got to be careful here, especially on the outside. Labonte wants to get back down to the bottom as quickly as he can, but he's not there yet. Right there with Montgomery as he ran right into him. Oh, man! Now he's hooked on Montgomery on the inside. And Johnson has closed the gap pretty quickly. Ooh, another hit in the outside wall. Labonte trying to be careful as he slides the tires again in turns 1 and 2. Yeah, this is not good. No, Montgomery in the barrels. Caution for the 3rd time. Chase Montgomery gets into the barrels. Labonte was on the outside for about 2 to 3 laps in a row, and he couldn't get down to the bottom inside of Montgomery, and then he was running in the back of Barrett a couple times. Johnson was coming and desperate to get to the bottom. And once he got hooked on the 27, he couldn't get off of him, and Montgomery goes in the barrels all by himself. Well, not all by himself. He had a little extra help. And Labonte's going to hit pit road now. A lot of track position lost here. Labonte's going to tighten this car up a little bit. Half a round of wedge being put into it. His first stop of the day. Ashton G, welcome to the stream. And already 3 cautions in just over the first 100 laps of today's race at Martinsville. So everybody else staying out of the pits. It's like 18 drivers are on the lead lap because that is exactly where Terry Labonte's going to line up on this restart. Green flag back in the air as he kind of restarted in the center of the corner. I don't know if that was legal to transfer lanes or not. 2003, I'm not sure. It's only lap cars on the inside, but everybody really checked up with restarting in the center of the corner, and Labonte's got those fresher tires now as well, and Labonte almost got into the barrels, and he clips the 45, trying to avoid it, and the 45 wheel hopped into Greg Biffle. Carnage early on. Kind of the way the first half of yesterday's race was, only it's a lot shorter and slower of a racetrack, so the contact's not quite as vicious.
Keep hitting those marks. Leader's about 5 seconds ahead. The 29 car is still there.
Trying to spin some tires on corner entry that time.
You're clear. Keep it behind you if you can. Number 2, it's up high. The 2 car is still there. The 29 car is looking right. Still beside you. Just broke into the top 10. Okay, we're clear.
Look out for Terry Labonte coming back through the field here.
Number 20 is outside. Just 6 seconds separates you and the leader. The 20 car is still there. Still there. They're on both sides.
Oh, man.
Hey, we don't need a bad
Well, you thought it was bad before.
Hey, that's worth another spot. Take me. All right.
As far as him running into the back of these slower cars, now that he's got much fresher tires, it's probably going to be a lot easier for him to do something like that.
One outside. They're on both sides. Number 40 is going for the block. Okay, time to go. The leader is about 6 seconds ahead.
Waltrip just sent it on the outside. Labonte has to get payback on him eventually, but he wants to let this run green as long as he can with having those fresher tires right now. Oh.
Easy on the bumping, buddy. All clear, buddy.
Between this game and this racetrack, this is making me look like such a rookie. Like I don't know what I'm doing. It's making it look like I have zero driving ability.
You're clear.
Labonte's car was a lot better handling the first time we were here at Martinsville when he dominated and won. What a tale of 2 races.
Buddy, we're 6 seconds back. Let's get up.
Qualified on the pole again, though.
Beside you. Keep digging.
Look at Ricky Craven not giving Labonte any room in turns 1 and 2. Labonte was in the grass all the way around the corner, and Craven just gave him zero room to come back up on the racetrack, even on corner entry. Quarter of the way through today's race.
The 32 car is coming high.
Kenseth kind of pinched him off too right there, and Labonte gave him the spot for the moment. Maybe going to try the outside. That didn't work on Montgomery earlier, so. Door open now. Kenseth got around Bill Elliott. Opens the door for Labonte to get underneath of Elliott. Slides the tires into the corner, but he beats Kenseth back to the gas, and he clears him as well. Tyler Burback, welcome to the stream. Got to get the chat back up on my laptop here in a little bit. Oh, contact! Junior Labonte could not get off of him at all right there. Wow. Labonte's car about turned right on him. And then he overcorrects it and cuts off Jeff Burton. Burton to the inside of Labonte now. Labonte trying to cross him back over off turn 4. And Labonte back around Burton for 5th again. Junior waited forever to get back to the gas that time, and Labonte slightly getting into the back of him again. Terry looks high. Yeah, that didn't work the last time. Man, he's so loose and out of shape. Even before he gets to the braking zone, that car just keeps getting loose, and he tightened it up under that first pit stop. Put a half around a wedge in the car. It's still not tight. Junior trying to block. He keeps giving Labonte the outside, and that's it. Oh! Junior got into the back of Terry Labonte that time.
3.5 seconds behind the leader. You're clear.
Labonte left a lot of bottom open. Junior couldn't capitalize with Terry on the fresher tires. Kurt Busch checking up. Stuck behind the lap car of Montgomery. Labonte trying to cross back over to the inside to get around Kurt Busch as quickly as he can.
He's going to make things tough on him. Clear on both sides. All right. All clear, buddy.
Gordon really sends it off into turn 3. Labonte's going to end up in the barrels himself here before long. Second time he about did it since the restart. Just kind of has to let that car roll into the corners on his own. It's just overturning. That's probably part of why he's so loose, but the reason why it's overturning is because of this analog stick. NASCAR Heat game for the Nintendo Switch in the near future. Yeah, I've never really owned any Nintendos. I guess I had like a Game Boy when I was really young, but I don't remember having many games for that or really playing it a lot, so. I think my sister had a DS there for a little while, and she had games like Mario Kart and stuff like that on there. Other games that I would not have been interested in at all. But, yeah, I never personally owned one. Oh, jeez. He's got some pretty heavy damage on that left front now, and a lot of it is because of the car just overturning and getting way too loose. Ryan Newman's going to be a tough pass. Kind of already know this. Oh, man, Labonte almost went around. Jack Sprague about ran into the back of him, too.
Number 12 is going for the block. Clear on both sides.
Labonte really trying to reel it in. Oh, Newman hugging the inside. Labonte does not want to be up here. Well, he got into the wall. That doesn't help.
Got one down left. The 12 car is trying the block. Got one out.
Not sure how damaged that left front is, but I'm imagining it's pretty damaged. That's not going to help either. Corner entry into turn 1. Oh, somebody brushed the wall off the exit of turn 2. One of the lap cars Newman's trying to pass. I believe it's Hermie Sadler in the 0-2 car. That allowed Labonte to close in pretty quickly again. How low Newman goes to try and pinch him off. Oh! He pinched him off so much. He almost tried to turn Labonte off the exit of turn 2, and Labonte's trying to get away again. Meanwhile, Johnson's still got about a 2-second lead. Oh, wow, what a drive by Newman into the corner. Thought about taking another swing at Labonte, and Labonte stays in front of him. Terry trying to get around Brett Bodine right now. Labonte's car's got to be hanging on for dear life right now. Just the body work, everything goes into the durability of the race cars. Got to be clinging on to dear life on that left front right now. Johnson's been held up in so much lap traffic that Terry Labonte has caught him so quickly, and now off of turn 2. Labonte looks to the inside of Johnson to take the lead again. I'm sure the fresh tires definitely helped Terry drive through the pack a lot quicker than he probably should have. As he clears Johnson off turn 4, official lead change back at the line. Again, Labonte wants this to run green for quite some time. And Kyle Petty, Petty holding him up. On the outside, there he goes. Contact with Johnson again. Hang on to it, boys. Look at how close behind the 5 to 48 of Johnson got that time. Did a great job keeping it off of him, though. Greg Biffle, meanwhile, just got underneath the 48 of Johnson. So Johnson's stuck on the outside again. I can't even look at the chat right now. I mean, like, every single moment I try to look away. It's like the car's wanting to either turn on me or I have to get into the corner, and we're only 150 laps in.
The 30 car is still there. Keep an eye on your mirror. He's not too happy with it. Okay, we're clear. Number 22, hello.
Bonnie crossing over on Ward Burton. Caution debris. Front bumper of Labonte's car just came off again. So they'll race back to the caution flag at lap 151. So already our 4th caution of the race at lap 151 here today at Martinsville. I got the chat back on the laptop, by the way. Yeah, Labonte's going to pit again right here. See if anybody else comes down to follow. He's got heavy damage on the left front. That probably caused some of that front bumper to come off. Now he can't replace tires because he was the reason for the caution. Can't add fuel either, but we will repair damage. Or at least Labonte's crew is going to repair as much damage as they can. And we left our tires on pit road. Do you guys see that? We exited pit road and all 4 tires are still in the pit box. That's funny. Green flag back in the air, and that guy's checking up on the restart again. And Labonte trying to save the car as the tires spun. And it's crowded down in turns 1 and 2 as they're 3 wide. Labonte had fresh tires before. He's got extremely fresh tires now. I mean, the entire field just about stopped there. I mean, they just absolutely stopped. Bonnie just keeps banging up that left front. I mean, the car like almost turns by itself. Like I wasn't even turning there, and it still kind of just kept going lower and lower and scraped the wall. There's a pass on the outside. It's probably the first time Labonte's done that today. Oh, and Craven just ran right into the back of Labonte. Oh my goodness. This has to be like one of the sloppiest drives I think I've ever had. Not the sloppiest race necessarily, but like the sloppiest drive by me. And there's not really a lot I can do with it because the analog stick sucks on this controller. I'm about ready to throw it out the window. I mean, this is... Labonte was running 10 times better at Martinsville earlier this season. Same setup. And we had to adjust on that setup because I couldn't run practice. It was even worse in practice, and there were less cars on the track. No, thankfully. Oh, man, Labonte locked the brakes up into turn 3 after Kurt Busch tried to take him out. And now Kurt Busch just ran Terry Labonte up the racetrack. My goodness. Kurt's a lap down, too. Kurt's still trying to lean on Terry Labonte.
Only 8 seconds back to the leader. Stay hungry.
The 41 car is putting a lock on you. No one outside.
Hell's Gaming Channel, welcome to the stream.
You're clear.
Oh my god.
41 has got a run on you.
The flatter tracks are definitely more difficult in this game, I feel like. But still, I mean, Labonte dominated this race earlier this season. And it's a night and day difference, and it's 9 chances out of 10 it's likely the controller and not me. And again, if you guys have watched any races in the second half of the season, it's because I got a new controller for my PS2. Because the last one, the controller, the analog stick was sticking to the right, so I had to get a new one, and this one just absolutely stinks. Like, it just turns way too easily. In some tracks, I can get the hang of it. Tracks like this, I can't. We struggled at Charlotte. We barely got to the end of that race. We at least finished 10th yesterday. And then you got tracks like Dover where we couldn't even make it 100 laps into the race because we want to spin out every time. Every single straightaway. Not even the corner. It's mainly the straightaway, but I think because this track is so flat and so slow that the way the braking points are, it's turning way too easily. Like, I mean, it would turn easy on other tracks, but this one, it's a lot different. I think that's why it's looking like I'm overturning the race car. Look at this. I mean, even down the straightaways, just can't hold a straight line. Debris on the racetrack again at lap 169. We're probably going to be seeing that a lot today. We already have. That's the third debris caution.
3.5 seconds.
There's no wheel for the PS2. I didn't even look. I just need a new controller because my last controller was fine. Everybody's going to stay out again. Terry Labonte is not, but again, cannot pit for fuel or tires. I don't know why we can't adjust the air pressure. I'd like to drop it. See if that would help. So Labonte's just going to only be able to repair damage. Al's Gaming Channel, if you're new, we do full race live streams with a realistic broadcast. I'm trying my best here to not lose my cool with the controller, but it is definitely tough. And the fact that we still got half a race to go is just not good. Championship implications on the line. Again, 5 races to go in the season, so Labonte's got to do something to just make it to the end of today's race. And it has definitely been a struggle so far. Look at how slow they are on the restarts at the back of the pack. Bonnie just kind of trying to duck and evade. Look at Jeff Green send it into the corner. Bonnie's just going to let him go. Oh, no piece of it. And now Sterling Marlin trying to take out Terry Labonte all of a sudden as they check up going into turns 1 and 2 again. And Labonte just kind of evades to the inside and gets around about 5 or 6 cars. Again, he's still got fresher tires, though, from the last time he pitted, which is the first and only time he's pitted for tires. That's why he's got about 40 to 50 lap fresher tires on the rest of the field. And everybody else pitted under that very first caution of the day at lap 35. Five cautions early on. Somebody made contact up there battling for the lead. I believe it was Jeff Gordon. Looks like he tried to move Tony Stewart out of the way. Really checking up a lot there. Bonnie going to have to be careful in trying to make a pass around Ryan Newman. Newman's tried to dump him a couple times, including off that first restart, but Labonte, those fresher tires, wins the race back to the gas. And look at the amount of time Terry Labonte's able to gain as he works his way up to second, passing Gordon. These fresher tires are letting him just tear through the field. Johnson again leading, though, and Johnson's led the most laps so far here today. He's probably led well over 100. Well, if you lower the air pressure, it tends to tighten the car up because it can be harder to turn when you put lower air pressure in the car. When there's more air pressure, you kind of get that basketball effect. And that's why it loosens it up, where if you put air in a basketball, like it bounces higher the more air you put in it. So as you start to hit bumps on, say, like a bumpier racetrack or less, grippier racetrack, it loosens the car up quite a bit. It has that basketball effect to it. So by lowering the air pressure, it can give you more grip. It might not give you a lot of grip at the beginning, but it'll give you more grip over the longer run because your air pressure is not building up as high throughout the course of the run as your tires start to lose grip, if that makes sense. So it's not so much like it gives you more grip initially, but as the air pressure builds, it's not building up as high as what it would be if you had a higher set air pressure. So Bonnie was able to get back to the lead a couple laps ago. Montgomery really pushed tight off the exit of the corner. He kept it off the wall and luckily cleared Stanton Barrett before that. Contact with Sprague. Bonnie's just trying to do everything he can right now to just keep this car going in the right direction. David Green just pinching him down the racetrack. And look at the damage now on the right front of Labonte's car. Green pinched him in turns 1 and 2. And Labonte tried to keep it off of him, but once he made that initial contact, he couldn't get the car off of him. He's got to be extremely careful on the outside of Christian Fittipaldi. Now he's in the wall. Contact with Fittipaldi, got hooked on him, and Fittipaldi's in the barrels. And they stack up behind him. 6th caution of the day at lap 186. Fittipaldi, innocent bystander in that. Jack Sprague piles in. Hermie Sadler, Jimmy Johnson, I think. Wow, Dale Jr. got a piece. Looked like the 4 of Mike Skinner kind of scraped on by as well. Fittipaldi, an innocent bystander. Elliott Sadler hit the barrels as well further back. What a crazy race. And now the rest of the field just pitted. Labonte stays out. That's going to give Terry Labonte older tires, and we're going to have another restart. Green flag back in the air. Into turn 1. Labonte kind of spun the tires a little bit. Now they're 3 wide off the exit of the corner. Side by side with Johnson. Gets loose into Jimmy. And now Jimmy's in the barrels. My goodness. The Hendrick Chevrolets get together in turn 3, and here we go again. Another caution on the restart this time. Everybody else at least escaped to the outside. Cautions are breeding cautions here today at Martinsville. Four fresh tires. All damage will be repaired. No adjustments on Terry Labonte's race car. He has not been able to run the outside today. It kind of stuck, though, on the restart with the lap cars lining up to the inside of the lead lap cars. Then they were 3 wide off turn 2 with Johnson in the middle. And Labonte was just trying to keep it off the wall and again got hung up on the car on his inside and he just couldn't get off of him. And that's exactly what happened with both Chase Montgomery earlier. And then you saw at the second to last caution as well. And we've already received 7 cautions in today's race, and we haven't even reached the halfway point.
Nobody else decided to come in.
Record for the most cautions in a single race on the channel was NASCAR Heat 5 at Talladega, where we had 16 caution flags. The record before that was 13 at this very racetrack in this game. So we've seen this before at Martinsville. I mean, they're about stopped in turns 3 and 4. Diamond Jeff, welcome to the stream. And all that track position again lost here for Terry Labonte. It's just been a very weird race. Oh! Marlin about stopped getting into turn 1 as well. Just really got to tiptoe around these corners at the back of the pack on these restarts. Just try desperately to follow the cars ahead of you and not run into the back of them, but it's much easier said than done. Finally, almost to the 200 lap mark. This race has taken a while, mainly because of the amount of cautions we've seen already today. 7 of them in less than 200 laps at Martinsville. And there goes Labonte's car. It was a matter of time with the amount of damage he had. And the way that car was driving the whole race, he had to have known he wasn't going to make it.
It seems like we had a lot of
8 cautions now, and Labonte's day has come to an end.
As soon as the green flag dropped. What a great race.
Jerry Labonte probably isn't too happy about his finish here.
Well, all the guys on that team worked so hard. It's a shame they couldn't get a better finish, but sometimes it's just not your day.
Jerry Labonte had some problems on the track.
Didn't even make it to 200
Oh,
laps.
you're out there beating and banging on guys.
Jeremy Mayfield's going to go on to win today's race at Martinsville. We'll take you through the finishing results. And that might just very well be the nail in the final coffin in Terry Labonte's championship hopes. There was just nothing else that could have been done. I mean, Labonte was struggling from the drop of the green flag to try and find grip. And then that hit into the wall, just unbelievable. Labonte had high hopes coming in after qualifying on the pole and winning at Martinsville earlier this year, and that just did not go according to plan whatsoever. Ward Burton finishes second behind Jeremy Mayfield, the race winner. Rookie Jamie McMurray finishes third. Dale Jarrett fourth. Ryan Newman rounds out the top five. Michael Waltrip sixth. Points leader Dale Jr. seventh. So that is going to hurt Labonte quite a bit. Kevin Harvick eighth. Jeff Gordon ninth. Mark Martin rounds out the top 10. Junior did not lead a lap today, but still seventh place run is very solid. Labonte was doing everything he could. Should have pit with them, yeah. I didn't think that they were going to pit, otherwise I would have, but that definitely put us back in traffic. I don't even know if Labonte was... I don't know if he would have even made it to the end of the race anyway with the way that car was handling. I mean, you guys could see it physically that car... Like, I'd be on the straightaways and it'd be out of shape, and I didn't even have to be on the brakes. I mean, it was just shaking back and forth. That was a dumpster fire of a race. Let's just say that much. That was pretty bad. That might have been one of the worst races I think we've had on the channel. Like, that was just not good at all. And knowing the implications with the championship, we were already coming from behind, and we were starting to come back and cut into it. And again, having high hopes for tonight's race and just struggling right from the get-go. I'm working on getting a new controller, but I did not think that this was going to come. Why did that last controller have to break on me? Why did it have to break? Because we were doing so good at the beginning of the season. We were fourth in points. And then about halfway through the year, when the the analog stick, the steering part of the steering analog stick was sticking to the right, and we just couldn't keep control of the car from that point. And again, some races were better than others, but obviously today was not one of those races. It's costed us at least a couple DNFs that we've been into, on top of the game itself not giving it to us, but man, that's tough. Take a look at who all DNF'd. Kurt Busch actually exited the race with a blown engine before Terry Labonte crashed out. So Kurt Busch finishes last. Terry Labonte finishes second to last. He was the second and final car to DNF, and not sure who led the most laps. Labonte led 95. Johnson led 93. Dale Jarrett led 96. So by one lap, Dale Jarrett gets the most laps led. And we're going to take a look at the point standings on our way out of here. Martinsville's a rough racetrack. It is. We don't have very good luck with Martinsville with these full races. It's hard. It is definitely hard to run full races and not crash out of a bunch of them. And I believe that's our 10th DNF now of the season. Especially with this game. This game's so challenging. It's gonna suck because we didn't win the championship in Season 1, and we're likely not going to here in Season 2. The points lead does narrow slightly, but not by much. Martin's only able... Martin actually lost 7 points, so I guess Junior widens it out with that 7th place run. 97-point lead over Mark Martin. Dale Jarrett third, 105 back. Jeff Gordon in fourth, 141 back. So top four still within one race of each other. Bobby Labonte is still in fifth, followed by Jeff Burton, Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth, Ward Burton, and Terry Labonte falls one spot in the standings from 9th back to 10th, and he's 390 points back now, so not looking too good here for him. Ryan Newman over 400 back. He was our Season 1 champion. He's sitting 11th. Take a look at the Rookie of the Year standings. I kept meaning to the last couple races, and I kept forgetting. So the first driver running full-time this year that is a rookie is Jack Sprague, and he's 39th. Biffle's 38th. Casey Mears 36th. Christian Fittipaldi 35th. And Jamie McMurray has really pulled away. He's up to 26, that third-place run. He's had a couple top fives. I think he finished top 5 at Talladega, too, if I'm not mistaken. So he's had a couple of good runs here lately. I think the last race at Charlotte, he finished just outside the top 10 also. So he's had a couple good runs here as of late. And so Jamie McMurray by just over 200 points McMurray by over 300 points has the Rookie of the Year standings lead. So that's looking good for him. We're not mathematically out of it, but yeah, it's definitely not looking good. Let me see here. 390... divided by 4. So we have to gain 97.5 points on average. So round up, 98. Well, we got the tiebreaker too because we have the most wins on anybody this year, unless Junior wins out. But obviously he'd win the championship if he won out anyway. So I think he's got 2 wins. Well, it doesn't matter. Yeah, he still wouldn't catch us because we've got 10 wins. So yeah, 97.5 points on average we have to gain on him in these last 4 races. This NASCAR 05 Chase for the Cup have DNFs, yeah. So all the NASCAR EA games have DNFs. It's not... The thing is that it's not the DNFs that are the problem. And really, it's not the game that's the problem either. It's this controller. This stupid controller. And not even the controller, because the buttons are fine. It's the analog stick on this controller that's just too touchy. And I can't keep the car straight on the straightaways. And again, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that Season 1 with the old controller, and it wasn't like that for the first half of the year, and that's why we were running 4th in the points through almost the entire first half of the season. Then we fell back as far as 15th, and we were trying to come from behind there and had 3 straight top 10s, and Junior blew an engine in that stretch and finished 23rd at Talladega, and we were starting to cut into it, and we were we lost over 100 points today. We were about 280 back going in, so yeah, that definitely hurt us. But we're not completely out of it. Well, 4 races to go. It's not looking good. If we finish higher than 9th in points, we'll do better than what we did in Season 1 with Greg Biffle, so we're still having a better season. We're only 3 points behind Ward Burton in 9th. And we can still finish top 5 pretty easy. Well, not easily, but we're almost within a race of Bobby Labonte in 5th. Well within a race of Jeff Burton in 6th. So even if we just have good runs at the end of the year, we can still finish 6th in points. And we're going to need help. We were going to need help before. We need more help now. I do have something planned if I can get a hold of one of my friends that I've kind of turned into a NASCAR fan. We could do like a season mode, a multiplayer one. I think that'd be kind of cool, but that's no guarantee. But that'd be the only other way we'd be playing this game again on the channel. And that'd be down the road anyway, so I don't even think he's ever played this game. Yeah, probably shouldn't have even mentioned that, honestly. That probably won't happen. Yeah, this is the final season. 4 races to go. I'm not sure when the next race is going to be for this because we've got NASCAR 05 Speed Weeks starting tomorrow and Speed Weeks for actual NASCAR starting tomorrow. So the predictions video will be out by the end of the night, hopefully. It's been uploading for a couple hours now. Or not uploading necessarily for a couple. Well, yeah, it has been uploading, but as far as like the file, like actually converting and everything right now, hopefully that will be out by the end of the night. It's at 43%, but it's been a couple hours since it started, so it might not be up until like probably 10, 11 o'clock tonight, but it should hopefully be up by the end of the night. That will be the predictions video. Very in-depth predictions. It's about a half-hour video, 35-minute video, but it's my full predictions over the course of the season, just like we did last year, but it's a little, I should say it's a lot better edited than what last season's was, so when I was first starting the channel. So thanks everybody for tuning in here tonight. Like, share, but most importantly subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Again, we do these full race live streams with a realistic broadcast every day. My young journey to becoming a NASCAR broadcaster. So, with that being said, do all three of those things. Also hit that bell notification so you guys don't miss another upload. Next full race live stream will be a little bit earlier start time tomorrow night, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The reason why we're starting it early is because the Busch Clash is tomorrow night, and we will be running our Budweiser shootout where you guys, the fans, get to pick the driver. So make sure you tune in for that one. And don't miss your chance to vote on which driver I will use, not only for the Bud Shootout tomorrow, but for the entire NASCAR 05 season, and all three series for that matter, but we're going to be doing the vote for the Cup Series at least tomorrow, starting with the Bud Shootout. So thanks, everybody. Tune in for that one. Again, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that will be our pre-race leading you up to the start time of the Busch Clash in real life for NASCAR. So thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of your night. Enjoy, and I'll see you tomorrow at 5:30 on NASCAR 05.